Sound advice to keep your body and mind in perfect harmony. You're tuned in to the Dr. Stephen Show. Now, here is Dr. Stephen Eisenberg.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dr. Stephen Show. We have an amazing, amazing guest today. You're not going to believe this. Not only is she an amazing mother, she's a celebrity fitness star, and she happens to be lifelong friends with my wife. I'm talking they were babies together. They're born one day apart, and they've known each other forever. Now, honey, come up here for a second. Now, a lot of you may or may not know I have a great wife, and this is the perfect show to have her on. This is Julie. Many of you know her. Many of you don't, but anyway, get to know her because she's an up-and-coming star, I'm telling you. And she and my guest today, Natalie Jill from Natalie Jill Fitness, have known each other forever. Little babies in the crib together. Dads were best friends. Now, Natalie has taken internet fitness to a whole other level. Talk about bonding. Talk about a Facebook group. Talk about a community. She defines that, and I just love her like family. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for introducing me to Natalie Jill.
My pleasure.
And I know she's going to try to get rid of this eventually, so fingers crossed.
Come on, Natalie, you can do it.
We will be.
Natalie can.
We will be right back with Natalie Jill Fitness. Stay tuned. I'm listening.
Because you need to know.
Because you need to learn.
Because financial planning can be complicated.
There's wealthed.com.
Wealthed.com.
The site dedicated to educating you about financial planning.
With guidance from experienced financial planners.
Helping you learn more about creating your financial plan.
Watch Bucket Strategy Investing, presented by Lucia Capital Group, every day at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Or watch archived features from the show on demand.
Learn more about options for your benefits on the Social Security Show every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Lucia Capital Group brings you Bucket Strategy Live, Wednesday evenings at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
And learn more about the challenges women deal with on Femme Finance, Thursday afternoons at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
It's the site where understanding financial planning can start to click.
Click on wealthed.com.
Live programs, on-demand archived features, and articles.
Go to wealthed.com.
Wealthed.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks to our sponsors, wealthed.com, for giving us an amazing, amazing shout out here. I am with Natalie Jill, like the internet's #1 fitness star, and I'm just so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
I mean, the history is crazy, but more than that, I mean, hello. Natalie Jill, 7-day jumpstart, total body weight loss, building abs, total body weight, Rev 4. I mean, these are just amazing.
Thank you.
These are just amazing. I want to take a step back.
Okay.
I know I'm a little, I can get a little excited, but I'm really excited to have you on the show today because you've got so much going on. You've got the book coming out, which I really want to have you back for. And it's going to be a New York Times bestseller 5 times over.
Yes,
Are you kidding me?
Yes, right? That's what
5 times over. Now, if you would be so kind to take me back, take me back and tell me how you started down this amazing journey of Natalie Jill Fitness.
So, well, what's interesting is fitness and nutrition were always a passion of mine, but that was not my career. So a lot of people think I've been doing this forever, but really I was a director of sales in dental implants. It had nothing to do with nutrition or fitness, but that was always my hobby.
And you worked out.
I always worked out, and it would be funny because I would actually be meeting with doctors and talking about dental implants, and whenever I was bored, I didn't care about it, but whenever they'd ask me a nutrition or fitness question, I would light up. That was what I wanted to talk about.
Right.
So it wasn't until I hit my own personal rock bottom, and that's when, you remember, I mean, years ago I was going through a divorce, and I had just had my daughter, and I gained a lot of weight, all my fault because I ate lots and lots and lots of French fries and chocolate fudge sundaes while I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
And I was going through a hard time. I gained a lot of weight pregnant. And after I had my daughter, not only was I overweight, but I was going through my divorce. It's the time when the housing market had crashed, the stock market had crashed. I was financially struggling. And my job at the time, I would travel full time. And I had this new baby that I now was going to have to share custody of. And I thought, how in the world am I going to travel full time and do this? And I just remember spiraling into this. It's the first time in my life I ever really experienced a depression. I was this person that always thought I had it together, and I thought I had a successful career. I felt together, and it was the first time I felt truly lost and down, and I really didn't know what to do about it. And it didn't even occur to me to go get help for it. I just was taking it all on. And there was a specific moment I remember I was walking my daughter in the stroller, and I had my 2 dogs, and I remember walking thinking, gosh, anyone who saw me right now would think I have this perfect life. They would see me with this nice neighborhood and the baby and the dogs, and they would think, gosh, she has a perfect life. And I thought, but they really have no idea what I'm experiencing right now, because I don't even know how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know how I'm going to get on a plane tomorrow and go work and leave my baby, and what am I going to do with my life?
You're still sales at that point.
Yes, but I just was so sad and not knowing what was going to happen. And I also had this great income, but I couldn't pay my bills. It was like this I had gotten so backwards between the stock market crash and the housing market. And you remember what was going on years ago with that I just felt really out of control. And I remember going home that day, and it was truly like that rock bottom moment for me. And I thought, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. And I created a vision board. And vision board, I always tell everyone that's the first step, because I just started tearing out what I would want my life to look like. And I pulled out pictures of fit girls and happy relationship and, peace and a house that I could be comfortable in. I put in all this stuff, and I put some fantasy things on there.
So that's step 1.
That was step 1. I created a vision, and I did that because I felt like I had nothing right then except for my daughter. And I thought, if I can't, I need to look at something. I need to look at something to give me that feeling, because we tend to change towards feelings when we can feel, or memories. Like if you remembered how you once were, or you can imagine what it's going to feel like, that's what we tend to change towards. So I did that, and I thought, if I just start applying what I know about nutrition and fitness, and I start reading more, if I just do a little bit every day, it has to work. And so that's what I did. I started just
went
applying.
To work.
I went to work. I went to work. And I didn't set any kind of crazy, like, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in a week. It was nothing like that. It was just, I'm going to start applying what I know. I'm going to study more about it, and it's got to work if I just keep doing it.
You became certified. I mean, you became like a master.
So, well, I had always been a certified personal trainer, because I had the interest in it. And I was, at the time, a sports nutrition, a certification for it. But I went back and became a licensed master sports nutritionist, and I got some advanced personal training certificates, just because I wanted to learn for myself.
Yeah.
But what really happened and what changed my life was that at the time, actually your wife, I just realized this, Julie did this. I was having lunch with her, and she said, have you checked out Facebook? And I didn't even know what Facebook was. Do you remember that? I didn't even know what, I should probably be paying you royalties.
Hello?
Right? I didn't even know what Facebook was. And I went, and she's like, oh, it's fun. You connect with high school people. And I'm like, okay. And I went on Facebook that night, and I did that. So when I started my journey, I had maybe 100 friends on Facebook. But I started taking pictures of what I was doing, like eating my food. And I had this little album I called What I Eat. And I would post like what I'm eating. And I didn't care what anyone thought about me. it was like for my own thing, like my own accountability. But what happened was people were really interested. They were asking questions about it.
You were gluten-free before gluten-free was a thing.
Yes.
I mean, she was gluten-free because she actually had to be.
Yes.
I can talk about it? So Natalie has what's known as celiac disease. And so people who actually have celiac disease cannot eat gluten. They get very sick. So she was gluten-free before it was cool, y'all. She was like, she had to be gluten-free or else she'd get horrible symptoms.
Yes.
And that's why, I mean, I remember you posting like, hey, you can be gluten-free but still enjoy food.
Yes. But
that was like your little first postings.
Well, what's funny though about
what
that
I remember.
is gluten-free doesn't mean healthy always. Like you can have a gluten-free, heavily processed diet
yes.
and junk. And so even when I gained my weight and everything and I was depressed, I was eating gluten-free, but I wasn't eating healthy gluten-free. I was eating, gluten-free cookies or gluten-free French fries. That's not healthy.
Right.
So
there's a distinction between gluten-free
and
and
unprocessed
healthy.
diet. Yes.
Gluten-free and healthy
Yes.
versus just gluten-free, give me my cookies.
Yes, there's a big difference between
Okay,
it.
yeah.
But I was sharing what I eat, and people were interested, and I formed an authentic friendship with people. And what happened was people asked me, hey, you should, have you thought of doing a recipe book? And I didn't know how to do a recipe book or anything. And I remember I was taking the pictures on my BlackBerry phone. Remember those? The BlackBerries?
Yes,
and I
yes, not
created,
this.
I created
Not
a
this.
very first, I called it, it was just like a Staline recipe book. And it was a PDF of pictures of my BlackBerry. And it's so pathetic to look at it now because it seriously looks like throw up, some of the pictures. Like I can't even believe people bought this. But I didn't know I was doing anything bad. I just was sharing. And I sold it for $12.
Yeah.
And literally just on Facebook, like,
Yeah.
hey, check out this, and people bought it. And then the next thing was they wanted to know, well, how did you eat this to lose weight or to do this? So that's what became my original 7-day jumpstart. I wrote it in a weekend.
Is it
my
on here?
No, my original what's
I
now
remember
going to be
that.
my book that you'll see in stores. My very original 7-day jumpstart was based on something, that request from social media, and how I turned my life around, the vision board, the goals, and creating these healthy recipes. That's how it started. But what happened was that program, just from me sharing it, it took off. And because not only was it helping a lot of people, but they were telling other people about it, and then they would get it, and then they would send me their successes, and I kept saying, I would say, can I share your success? They'd say yes. So I would share that back on social media, and I would say, look at Steven, this is what he sent me. Awesome for him. I made it about him because it was about him
Well,
or her.
we're gonna have to do that when you come back. We're gonna have to track this. This is my little friend.
Oh, geez.
Say hello to
I
my
think
little
you're pinching
friend.
skin right now, but that's okay. We'll come back to
Say
that.
hello to my little
Oh,
friend.
jeez.
and anyway, we're gonna get to that later. But so from what I'm hearing, it's amazing, your journey. You really fulfilled a niche.
Yeah, and it's what I would tell anybody wanting to start a business or anything. I didn't go out with this grand plan like, hey, I'm going to launch a business on social media and I'm going to create this product. It was nothing like that at all. I was being my authentic self, and I was actually
That's the key.
communicating with people, and I was providing them with something they were asking for. And till this day, I mean, my gosh, we have 19 e-programs, and I have 4 DVDs, and I have a book coming out. Every single thing I've created was an answer to things people were asking me for. I never just said, I'm going to come up with this and sell it. It was never about that. It's always been, this is what people that are trusting me and coming to me are asking me for, and I'm going to create it. DVDs, perfect example. I was sharing a lot of workout clips online, and people said, can you make a DVD? And that's when I did that.
Any DVD. I mean, look at this. These are amazing. We've got
thank
Rev 4. We've got Rev 4. Okay. We've got total body weight. We've got building abs. I need that. I have my abs are like Play-Doh. Remember Play-Doh? Okay. Can you do anything with those?
Take the DVD.
And we've got, I'm going to do this. And this is also total body weight advanced. No equipment. You don't need equipment,
No,
right?
nothing. That's my whole, everything I do, whether it's
love
food
these.
or workouts, is based on things that you could do in minimal time using your own body weight, minimal resources. Because I'm always remembering that position I was in. That if people don't have money to go to the gym, or they don't have the confidence to go to the gym, or they don't have the luxury of lots of time to work out, or even just the food. People get so overwhelmed by diets and these crazy plans when it doesn't have to be that hard. So everything that I do, and I've always stayed committed to that. Any product I launch, any program, is based on things that I talk to that person that I was. That person can do, the busy mom, or whatever, that they can do this.
Well, you are a busy mom, and you're have this wonderful daughter. You have a new husband. Congratulations,
Thank you.
by the way. Sorry, guys out there who are watching. Sorry for all you guys on Facebook watching. She's taken. So here's the last thing I want to say before we take a short break.
Sure.
There's so many people out there trying to build a business. Okay, so I want to talk about this when we get back, but what's the biggest thing that I hear you saying is that you built this trust by being authentic.
Yes.
You're transparent. You were showing yourself as that busy mom. You were just being real.
Yes.
And that's what built the trust.
You have to be yourself.
Yeah.
You have to
and
be
that
yourself.
built the trust. And then you asked people for what was needed. You didn't just sort of make it up. You sort of went out to your audience and asked them, what do you want?
Exactly.
And that's like amazing.
Or they just tell you. People are going to ask you questions when you're building a connection with people.
Yeah. And so now tell us about your reach on social media nowadays from that first Facebook that my wife Julie
gosh.
told you about.
It's so
now
funny.
what is it now?
Gosh, my Facebook page it's probably at 1.5 million now, or if not over that.
Not too shabby. Not too
and then,
shabby at all.
It's still, I mean, it's funny to me because so many times people say, oh, you sell your DVDs because you have this Facebook following. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
That's not the way it works. I never had that. That's grown.
Goes hand in hand.
And I tell everyone when it comes to social media, there's no tricks to growing your social media. And when you try to be somebody else or try to copy someone else, that's not what works. When you hire someone just to do it for you, that's not what works. If you're just yourself and you share real information that is value to other people, that's what attracts people.
Did you start it yourself?
Yeah, I've always done it myself.
You did yourself?
I still to this day post, every post that goes on my Facebook and the Instagram comes from me directly.
Tell me about the Instagram, because you do these short little videos that are like 500,000 likes
I don't know
for
about
like
that.
a 6-second video. I mean, tell me tell me about the Instagram. How did you do Instagram?
Instagram is very similar to Facebook. It's just a mini version of it. It's quick, it's fast, it's pictures or video. So it is similar to my Facebook. I find that it's a little bit of a different community on both. So sometimes I put things on Instagram that I wouldn't put on Facebook, or vice versa. They're just a little bit of a different audience.
You hit this.
Oh, I know, because that's my whole thing. Is I love emojis.
About these. Tell us about these.
Well, I love
these are emojis, aren't they?
They're emojis. Yeah.
Uh-oh, why am I holding this one and you holding that one?
I always say,
is this sort of like right here? Should this be right here?
Okay, first of all, people, do you think seriously, is this a poo emoji or a soft ice cream emoji? Because
ooh, that's a tough one. I would say
I'm not,
Now look, we're not afraid. I'm a doctor. I'm triple board certified. We are not afraid to talk about poo.
Right.
On the Dr. Stevens show. And
Exactly.
poo's important, isn't it?
It's important.
It's very important. You should always
Everybody poos.
Yeah. Even though some women say, I never, it's like roses. It's roses.
Yeah, I definitely don't, but everybody else does.
But what I mean is, look, when you eat healthy, you should have healthy
But that wasn't
poo.
the point. It was the point.
That's not the point.
This is people walk around feeling like this all the time. They do. Like, it's not normal.
That's true.
You should never feel bloated and stomach aches and tired. That's not normal. That's okay to have those days, but that's not normal. We should feel this. And so much is connected to just movement and your diet, what you're putting in.
Yes. So when we get back, we are gonna natalize me.
Okay. Natalize.
Not analyze me. We're gonna natalize me.
Okay.
And we're gonna help me go from this to this today.
I like it.
Right here on the show, using some of her patented techniques.
My patented techniques.
And I am here again. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, WealthEd, and WealthEd.com, and thank you for being here.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with Natalie Jill Fitness. Ho, come on back. We'll see you in a few.
It's the site where understanding investing starts to click. Click on wealthed.com, educating you about financial planning and answering your most important questions with live interactive shows hosted by experienced financial strategists and an on-demand library of videos and articles you can access anytime for free. Wealthed.com brings you retirement planning guidance, social security strategies, tax management techniques, portfolio allocation options, and more. Your source for information and financial education, online, on demand, on wealthed.com.
And we are back, guys. Thank you for being here on the Dr. Stevens Show. We are with Natalie Jill from Natalie Jill Fitness, nataliejillfitness.com. On Facebook, it's Natalie Jill Fit.
Yes.
Right? And Instagram,
All
Natalie
social
Jill.
media, Natalie Jill Fit.
Natalie Jill Fit, peeps. So, okay, now, we heard your story. We heard how you are an amazing builder of businesses. Now, I wanted to ask you, are you venturing out into the world of, I think you are, because I've seen you, I follow you closely. You're also venturing out into the world of helping others sort of get their brand going and helping them find their own unique voice or build their brand and get their business, you know, jump-started. I mean, you're going to jump-start my fat belly, but you can also jump-start someone's business, can't you?
So it goes back to me listening to my audience. So I go where the wind tosses things. You know, people were asking about my nutrition first, then they were asking about the workouts. People now want to know how I built my business online, so I'm answering it. So I really, it's not that I'm saying I'm shutting this off and going here at all. I like to help people solve problems, and I like, my whole slogan has always been excuses or solutions, you decide. Because I fully believe that everybody can find a solution to things. So whether that's, and I think it goes together, you know, whether it's business, your life, your health, nutrition, all that goes together. So I always struggle when someone says, what do you do? Like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. I do everything. I really don't have like a specific thing. I like to help people become a better version of them. And I think the commonality with that is it does start with health and fitness. You have to have that in place, mindset and that. Yeah. And then that really goes into your life and your business and everything else.
How can you have a business if you're just in bed all day sick?
You can't. I mean, you can work for somebody and make them money, but you're not going to ever... when you're operating at your best self, you are in a place to take your strengths and turn that into a living. You know, like people, you should be doing what you love. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, I like that. So. That's sort of why I'm here right now.
Yeah.
Sort of why we're here right now. I love getting messages like yours out into the Twitterverse, into the Facebookverse. Okay, so. All right, I'm Mr. Play-Doh. I know your wife is my wife.
My wife. I don't have a wife.
My wife. My wife. My wife is one of your closest and dearest friends, and I'm sure she would love me to have some like. I'm not even asking for a 6-pack. This is gonna be like a 2-pack, like a 4-pack, or like a 1-pack. But you know, okay, so you got this, you know, a whole group of guys like me who are like 40-something, and you know, maybe a doctor. Let me take this off because we don't always, you know, I'm not going to hit you. We don't always need to be wearing our stethoscopes. We can take it off, and we can start to think outside of the box. What can someone like I do to jumpstart? I mean, I want to do your 7-day jumpstart. I want to start doing something. So, you know, people always ask me, how can you have one way of eating that's going to work for everybody? And I'll tell you why I do. Because my entire way of eating, what I base everything around, is unprocessing your diet. And let me explain what that means. Tell me. So I'm not a fan of all the strict. First of all, every diet out there would work if you follow it. Every diet. I get that there's a place for the cucumber diet or whatever. There's a place for everything. I get it. However, when you talk about making something a lifestyle and something you can sustain forever, those extreme ways do not work. Okay, but it's very hard to work on deprivation. When you say I can't have these things and I can't have that, it makes it very difficult to sustain. But when you focus on addition, what can you add better, more of into your life, and what can you unprocess? Like, what can you simplify? And let me explain unprocess. I like it. If you pick up an apple, there's one ingredient, right? Apple. Apple. If you pick up celery, one ingredient, celery. Celery. Seeds, nuts. Eggs, they're unprocessed. No high fructose corn syrup. When you pick up a packaged food and there's 20 ingredients you can't pronounce, that's a highly processed food. Polysorbate 80? That's no good? Red number, whatever. So it's, you know, sometimes people will get nitpicky with me and say, well, you're eating this cracker and there's 4 ingredients. Well, 4 ingredients that you can pronounce is an exact example of what I want people to look at when you talk about unprocessing your diet. So I'm not saying go all freaky and I only eat, you know, things with 1 ingredient. I'm not, that makes people want to fail because you can't stick to that. But when I say work on unprocessing, when you're looking at, let's start with a packaged good. You're looking at 2 boxes of crackers. Can you pick the one that has 3 or 4 ingredients versus the one that has 20? Let's see. This one says polysorbate 80, brown color number 5, and this one just says happy juice.
Right. Happy
So I
juice.
think I'm going to go
Happy juice.
with happy juice. So one ingredient.
Simple ingredients. Simple ingredients.
Simple. Things you can pronounce.
Yes, and when
that's
you're
beautiful.
eating
That's
real,
cool.
that's what our bodies remember. If you think years ago, you could talk about paleo or whatever, what things are based on. We didn't have all these factories to put all these things into food and preservatives, and so people did eat simple, and obesity was not a problem. A lot of these diseases weren't a problem then.
Yeah, like metabolic syndrome, where you get diabetes and you are
It's all
overweight
newer
and high blood
diseases.
pressure and.
I'll introduce. So, we and you as a doctor have seen this. We've gone through all these trends of,
I'm a
no
doctor.
fat or, well, you've seen this as a doctor,
Yes.
like going through these trends of like fat-free is the way to go, or, sugar-free, or it's this,
Now it's
really
healthy. It's all about healthy fats right now.
It's about any fat, really, if
Yeah.
it's real natural food. Like saturated fat got
Yeah.
a really bad rap for a number of years. Saturated fat is not the problem. It's not the problem. You eat coconut oil is great for you.
Right, because it's
Saturated
natural,
fat.
and the ingredient is coconut
Yes,
oil.
exactly. Having some clarified butter is not creating all issues, and I feel like it gets
Yeah, the
extreme.
bulletproof crowd who puts a little grass-fed
Yes.
butter in the coffee.
Yep.
Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with the grass-fed
No.
Butter,
If
correct?
if you're doing moderation or eating real foods, that's the thing. When you eat real foods, you are much less likely to overeat, because when you start eating all the processed foods with the high fructose corn syrup and all the preservatives, or even artificial sweeteners, are a huge problem, because your body thinks it's getting those calories and it's not getting those calories. You're going to have more cravings. You're going to get the bloating. You feel terrible. You feel like this, and then you grab more food.
What
But when
about,
you eat natural,
yeah.
real foods, that stuff tends to fade away. Because
Okay.
it's very rare to overeat apples or to overeat seeds. You don't
Yeah.
overeat that stuff
I like
when you're just
sunflower seeds. Are those good?
Yeah, it's everything in moderation with unprocessed food. But if you were to just eat nothing, not saying to do this, but if you were to just go completely strict and say, I'm not eating any foods that have more than one ingredient, and that doesn't mean chocolate, because chocolate has a lot of ingredients, but
Yeah.
you would lose weight. It would happen because you're eating natural, real foods, and our bodies know to tell us when we're full. When we start tricking it with preservatives and all this artificial junk, then we don't know when we're full, and we're going to keep eating more, and it
Okay.
affects all kinds of things.
Now, I'm what they call TOFI.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's this little acronym that means thin outside, fat inside.
Okay, so visceral fat?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm going to eat better. I'm going to Natalize my diet,
Okay.
meaning one ingredient.
You're going to unprocess your diet.
Unprocess my diet.
Yes.
That's part of the natalization.
Unprocess it.
Unprocess it. But then I have to build muscle, right? I've got to do something about. Can you show me a move?
I can, but let me talk about something more important
Tell
first.
me.
Okay,
Good.
so everyone always says, like, what's the one move for abs, or what's this for that? There's two things that are so much more important than the exercises,
Yep.
besides the eating.
Tell me.
The worst thing people do for their health right now, what do you think it is? The worst thing that they're doing right now? Because it's not smoking or eating bad. What do you think the worst thing is?
Alcohol.
Sitting.
Drinking.
Sitting.
That's so
Think about
true. They
what's
said
sitting-
sitting's the new smoking.
Not only are
do.
they sitting, they're sitting on a computer, not moving their body. I mean, if you really think about what you're doing, you're sitting there.
That's brilliant.
You're not moving anything. Like, if there was no computer sitting here and you just sat like this all day, how long could you do that? It would be weird, right?
Yeah, but we do that.
We do that. That is the most dangerous thing to our health right now.
You're supposed to take breaks and walk
Take
around.
breaks, move around, stand up, whatever. Just don't sit all day.
I'm guilty as charged. I mean, I move from one room to another room and go see a patient, but it's like, okay.
So this is what happens. Most people sit all day and then they go to the gym for an hour and they lean on the treadmill. Hum-de-dum, like that.
Reading.
That doesn't make up for all the sitting. So you change the sitting and you start. One thing I talk about in my book is just moving more, and that means not sitting. Can you walk a little more? Can you take the stairs? What can you do that's just adding movement? Just making that change of not sitting all day and moving more is going to make a huge difference with people.
I love this.
Huge difference.
I love this. And now, I just happen to know today is National Cancer Day.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm sorry, World Cancer
Wow.
Day.
I didn't know
So I've also heard that sitting is the new smoking, meaning it's so bad for your health. Like you
Yes.
just taught me that sitting is the new smoking, meaning it's so bad, but it's a habit. You can change your habits by taking those breaks, getting up, moving throughout the day, taking the stairs,
Yes.
parking farther from the mall and walking instead of like, I need my spot right up front,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. That's
The
it.
little
I mean, just
little 1%
moving.
shifts.
And here's the other thing. what I want to say about the food before I forget this part, because this is so important, is what is the harm in unprocessing your diet? Like, really, what is, when you tell people to go on an extreme way, I get that there's dangers in that, but by telling people to eat more real, natural, unprocessed foods, what possibly could be wrong with that? There's no negative to that.
There isn't.
Right, and same with the moving more and not sitting.
No.
So everything I add, because I can't take it when I listen to a podcast or read an article about, like, you must eliminate this. Like, that's not, that's so
What do
strict.
they say to eliminate? Like,
Like,
what's
I mean,
one example?
I've heard fruit is bad for you. Like, fruit grew on a tree. It's fine for you. Nobody's telling you to eat 20 buckets of apples.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, if you want an apple, it's not.
Yeah, it's not going to make you fat.
No.
And it has anti-cancer properties, by the way.
That is not the issue. Overeating the wrong foods and being inactive is what's making us obese.
So portion control is important?
But if you're eating unprocessed natural foods, you are not going
You
to
don't have to
overeat.
worry as much
You don't
about
have to worry as much.
only eat as much as my fist, right?
But watch what happens when you start eating Doritos. You can't stop. Or watch what happens when you start eating junk.
Addiction.
Jelly beans. You can't
Ooh,
stop.
you're filling the void.
Yes.
You're filling that void. So
can't
when you're healthy and you're whole, that void is not there as much. So you're starting to eat healthier,
Yes.
and it builds upon itself.
And it's not 24/7. Everyone's human. You can eat. So it's
Yeah,
just
what's
that,
about
what's
this
the
whole
most of the
cheat
time?
day? What's the whole
So-
cheat? What's the
Yeah.
natalization on cheat days?
I'm not a fan of a cheat day, because that's implying that
yeah.
we have to be perfect all the time and then cheat. But I'm a fan of listening to your body, and if you really want something, and most of what you're doing is the unprocessed natural foods, you should have it. I mean, I'm guilty. Heck, I think probably Reese's Pieces are probably the worst thing you can eat for you.
Yeah.
But I tell you, every month around that time, I want Reese's Pieces. I can't help it. I know there's nothing in there good for me. But if everything else I'm eating is natural, unprocessed food, why shouldn't I?
Cravings exist. We're human. No one's perfect.
Right.
So a little 1 or 2 Reese's Pieces now
Or a whole bag. No, I'm just kidding.
aren't
never know.
going to throw you off the
No,
rails.
not if it's what you're doing the majority of the time. Just like you can't just eat healthy sometimes. It's what you're doing the majority of the time. And it doesn't kill you if one day you're off doing
This is
that.
amazing. I'm just blown away with your simple but wise advice.
you.
It's like I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just have to sort of get back to what I already knew.
Yes.
And that's beautiful.
And that's why my book that I was determined for, Unprocess Your Diet. It's based
Tell us a
on
little bit
it's
about
based
that.
on my original 7-day jumpstart. However, I've taken it to another level, and it's 7-day jumpstart Unprocess Your Diet, and it's pretty much what we've talked about, but a lot more, with 77 recipes that are examples of how you can have great food while unprocessing your diet.
And people can pre-order this.
You can pre-order it. Yes, you can pre-order it. You can pre-order it now, actually.
Pre-order the
And I have
book, y'all.
NatalieJillFitness.com.
Everyone, I want you to pre-order this book right now.
Yep. You can find it on Amazon.
Say the URL again.
NatalieJillFitness.com/book. But you can also find it on Amazon,
love the
BarnesandNoble.com, and if you go to the NatalieJillFitness.com/book, you'll find all kinds of bonuses we're doing for people too. So for getting, like, I have an entire academy I'm giving people in addition to just buying this book for $27. So right now.
Tell us about the academy.
Well, it's gonna.
Natalie Jill, you?
Natalie Jill, me, because what I know for sure is just buying a book does not change your life. Buying a book, reading it, and applying it, but having that support and having the extra information and the explanation behind it all does. So my mission behind this book was to get the message out to a lot more people, not just my Facebook audience. And I know I've helped a lot of people through my original 7-day jumpstart, but I really wanted to touch more people. And if they are not social media users and they don't see that daily stuff, I wanted people to have this nice academy where they get a lot of that information. So so everyone that pre-orders this book is going to get access to this special academy to go with it. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. And the academy gives you that support system. You get like a buddy system where or do they get little webinars?
They're going to get all kinds of webinars and support in there. Yes.
So cool. I love the academy
Maybe you as a
idea.
guest speaker on there.
I'd love to. I would be honored. I mean, I like to talk about cancer prevention and how
Or even when someone
moving.
is going through chemo radiation, like how nutrition can play a role too, because
It's huge.
that, you know, you
And
go
it's
through
not
that.
emphasized in medical school. You know, there's
Not at all.
no nutrition classes in medical school.
I see people going in for treatment with their Gatorade or their soda, and I got it because you don't feel good and
Yeah.
you want it, but it's like, it just makes me sad.
Here's something you may not know about me. When I was going through medical school, I actually worked in a health food store.
Oh, really?
So I was trying to make a little extra money so I could take Julie out on dates and whatnot. So, right, honey? So I worked in a health food store. So all my friends are like, dude, I'm pulling an all-nighter. Let's get some no-dos. I'm like, no, man, it's
The
all about
caffeine
the
stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's like, no, it's ginseng,
Oh.
green tea, because I was learning about all the
Right.
different stuff that my
Right.
patients come in with bags of supplements, but some of them are really good.
Yeah.
Like natural stuff,
I'm a fan of that,
ginseng,
yeah.
and so I learned early on how important nutrition
Yes,
was.
so important.
So I made it my mission to sort of get in there and learn. That's why I love having people like you on the show.
Thank you.
Because you sort of embody that. And I love how you're taking your mission and you're also sharing it with other people,
Thank
how
you.
to build their business, how to be their authentic selves and make a difference for their circle. Everyone has their community, you know? And so your community is awesome. I wanted to give a shout out to Natalie's folks who are watching right now on Facebook. It's amazing that you're here. Follow us at drsteven.com.
And I'll make sure we share all of your information too, so they can see more of your shows and everything.
Thank you. Now, to end the show, we have something very special that we've never done on the show before.
All right.
This is the first time because you're Natalie. I've known you a while. You're my wife's oldest friend.
Okay.
No, lifelong friend. And so what I wanted to say is we have a special, very new way that we're ending the show. So here it is.
Should I be nervous here?
You should be a little. You should be very nervous.
Oh boy, are we
Okay.
singing? Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
I'm known out there as the singing doctor. Okay, so this is the first time we're ending the show with a song.
I love it. I have a song.
And this is a song that I wrote about you and your mission.
Wow.
And it's
I've
a
never
little
had a song written for me.
well, this is just for you, okay?
By the way, I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, because for your audience isn't new. I'll never
Yeah.
forget when he finished medical school and you had all your bills for medical school.
Yeah.
And you were ready to start your practice.
Yeah.
And Julie called me one day and said, so Steven just finished medical school. He's got all his bills, and he thinks he wants to be a musician. Do you remember that?
It's yeah.
And I was helping her plan the divorce. I'm just kidding.
It worked out though.
It did work out. You get to combine it now.
Yeah,
It's all good. It's all good.
I try to combine the best of both worlds on
That's
this show.
perfect. I love it. I can't
And
wait to hear my song.
Here it goes. It's called Natalie.
Oh, I love it.
Lyrics by Dr. Steven, music by Paul McCartney.
Oh, that's
Okay, so here it is. Look at me, I'm gluten-free. Wait, hold on.
Oh my
Hold
gosh.
on. Look at me.
Wait,
okay.
is this really happening? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
here we go. We're gonna edit that. We're gonna edit that,
Okay.
and here's the song, okay? Look at me. Ready?
Should I sing
Look at me, I'm gluten-free, but my body needs help from Natalie. She will rock my nutrition, workouts, look out, a new me. Ooh, she will help me lose weight, oh great, let's do it, Natalie. Ooh, Natalie. Natalie, gluten-free, living in perfect harmony. Natalie, gluten-free, what can you do with my body? Natalie, gluten-free, living in perfect harmony. Natalie, gluten-free, living in perfect harmony. Natalie.
Yay! I love it. Woo!
Natalie.
Wish I had a lighter. I could be like, that was awesome.
And
I've
this is
never
for
had
you.
this
Here's the
song.
lyrics
Thank you.
to
I'm gonna
Natalie.
frame this. This is so cool.
And thanks for
Thank
being
you.
on the show.
Thank you.
So glad to
Awesome.
have you here. Mwah. And we will see you all next week on The Dr. Stephen Show. Come back, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.
It's the site where understanding investing starts to click. Click on wealthed.com, educating you about financial planning and answering your most important questions with live interactive shows hosted by experienced financial strategists and an on-demand library of videos and articles you can access anytime for free. Wealthed.com brings you retirement planning guidance, social security strategies, tax management techniques, portfolio allocation options, and more. Your source for information and financial education. Online, on demand, on wealthed.com.